Bring a new lead danger, and sorry, but it could be closer than you think. For the last year, we have heard recall after recall of children's toys because of lead dangers. 10 TV's Lindsay Sievert found the same concern has reached another industry. It's a place you and I frequent once or twice a year at least, the dentist chair.
Chip Collier is without a front tooth, but only for a few more minutes. Today, he's getting a new crown.
I could round those up a little bit if you like.
He's been coming to Dr. Dave Rummel for 30 years because when it comes to teeth, he's more concerned about his health than his smile.
The reason I come here is because I know I can trust the dentist I have, and I know that I'm going to get good workmanship.
Dr. Rummel is one of the few dentists in Central Ohio who makes his own crowns, bridges, and dentures right at his office. Most other dentists rely on outside dental labs. The labs can be down the street or even overseas. Work is increasingly outsourced to places like China, a country where jewelry and toys have been under heavy scrutiny because of lead concerns. Now, the dental community worries unsafe metals have reached their industry too.
It's one thing in a toy, which a child plays with for 20 minutes at a time, and it's another thing when it's in somebody's mouth for a lifetime.
But the concerns became widespread when the National Association of Dental Laboratories stepped in. Last fall, the NADL sent a letter to the FDA, the agency responsible for dental work, outlining the risk of lead contamination. They wrote U.S. labs import millions of devices as dentists seek lower costs, yet the FDA doesn't register or track labs. The other worry, only 3 states regulate dental labs. Ohio isn't one of them. So labs can outsource, and patients may never know.
Currently, laboratories that are outsourcing work overseas are required to disclose that to their dentist through existing FDA regulations. But that's where it stops. That disclosure does not have to pass on to the patient.
And 10 Investigates learned the deception goes one step further. Sometimes labs don't tell dentists, leaving dentists to unknowingly place foreign products in patients' mouths. In the U.S., the materials in your dental work are FDA approved. It's supposed to be that way in foreign countries, but the only problem, the FDA doesn't have any way to enforce it. With millions of products and not enough manpower, the work crosses borders. It lands in places like Ravenna, Ohio. Here, a 73-year-old woman hired a lawyer to sue her dentist. When she received a new bridge last year, the pain became so severe she couldn't chew. Look at the silver flecks. The dentist, she says, filed the porcelain down to the metal to make it fit.
She began to have some pretty significant allergic reactions and complications and infection that stemmed from the restoration that ultimately had to be removed.
The woman told 10 Investigates she then discovered her bridge was made in China. Worried, she had a lab tested for hazardous materials. The lab determined the porcelain, filed away in her mouth, contained lead. She's since undergone 2 surgeries. With an estimated 7 million crowns coming into our country each year, we wondered how much lead is in outsourced dental work. So 10 Investigates ordered 8 crowns from 4 different Chinese labs. With help from Dr. Rummel's office, each lab received the same prescription, and 2 weeks later, they arrived. 10 Investigates first used a device that screens for lead. Of the 8, 1 crown,
so we are getting some lead on this one,
came up positive. We sent our sample to a Cleveland lab, NSL Analytics, for scientific proof. They specialize in testing metals. Here, we instantly found lead in the porcelain, 210 parts per million, even higher than the lead in the Ravenna woman's bridge, which measured 160 parts per million. With no known research on lead in dental work, the lab can only compare to toy standards. They say toys leaching lead over 90 parts per million are hazardous. Again, on this crown, we found 210 parts per million.
It doesn't sound good.
Dr. Marcel Cassavant runs Central Ohio's lead program and also a poison control center.
Never would have guessed somebody would put lead into a piece or a part designed to be installed into a human being.
Dr. Cassavant says he would have never linked lead poisoning to dental work, but now...
Then I'll have to add to my list of questions, what kind of dental work have you had, and I wonder if it's possible to get that stuff tested.
Test results may prove a risk, but the government holds the key to change.
We don't know a lot about the labs.
The state dental board admits they aren't sure what's happening in the state's 300-some labs, leaving the burden to fall on the dentist.
We're just going to continue to look at the dentist and hold the dentist responsible for what's being done until such time as some regulations and standards and guidelines are put in place for labs. That's all we can do.
Wherever the blame falls, dentists, labs, the state, or the FDA, patients carry the true burden, with now much more at stake than a smile.
If a medical device is made out of a foreign country, I think that the patient should know.
And just this afternoon, in response to our story, the State Dental Board adopted a recommendation to the dentists they regulate. They are asking dentists to give labs a form that would require them, the labs, to disclose exactly where their dental work is made. Now, on a federal level, we've been asking the FDA for a response to our findings for the past 2 months. Now, within the last hour, they told us this through an email. They say they take this very seriously. They are reviewing this report and developing a strategy on all imported dental devices. Pretty interesting stuff.
I'll say, I know a lot of people are thinking the same thing right now. For those of us with crowns or bridges in our mouths right now, how concerned should we really be?
How worried should you be?
Yeah.
A lot of people say, don't panic, don't run to your dental office right now and say, what's going on? But this is so new for people. There's no standards for lead in dental work because it's not supposed to be there. So all the experts say, you know, they do agree on one thing: any level of lead inside your mouth is cause for concern, obviously. Sure.
So, Lindsay, where does that leave a patient? What's a person supposed to do now?
At the base of this, Jerry, is just the patient's right to know. Patients should be asking the dentist, where is my dental work made? What materials are in it? And if your dentist is using a reputable lab, they should be able to give you a breakdown of all the materials that go into your mouth. Now, we posted a lot more information on our website and tips you can ask your dentist, and a lot more information on lead. So go to our website, 10tv.com, and just click on 10 Investigates.